physics involves the study of matter and radiation at the atomic level. Quantum physics theories came to existence as a result of some 20th century experiments which could not be explained by classical physics at the atomic level. The quantum theory was formulated as a result of Einstein's discovery that light takes the form of both particles and waves. This led to the development of quantum mechanics, which, in the quest of recent scientists to solve the mysteries of both tiny particles and the enormity of the universe, has come under fire for suggesting the possibility of multiple extra dimensions and phenomena such as wormholes, opening into alternate realities, and even the possibility of time travel. Although in this era the limits of classical physics are acknowledged by some, quantum mechanics is not regularly used and accepted because of its seemingly magical qualities and because it's only relevant to the extremes of our reality. In other words, it only deals with the very small, atomic size, or the very fast, near the speed of light. Thus, for the kind of everyday things that humans come in contact with regularly, classic physics can be applied. Here are some examples of the main concepts and realities that quantum mechanics can describe while classical physics cannot.
Well, I think magic might be another form of science that we just don't believe in.
I don't think they go hand in hand. I think those are very opposite from each other. They're very different. Science is reality, where magic, I think, is just fiction.
I think magic is something you can't really explain. It's rather an art, I think they consider it.
Okay.
And it's something I guess they would pass on or whatever. I think science is more you can explain it. It could be taught in universities and by academics.
I think they're like the total opposites.
Science is factual, while magic is more like you believe it or you don't.
Magic is only science we haven't figured out yet. Some people would have said that that the idea that the Earth is round is preposterous, but it's true.
I think that sometimes science can define magic by what appears to us as magic but isn't really.
If some super technology suddenly appeared and did its thing, and we had no real understanding of the technology, whatever it's doing would appear to be magic to us. So the suggestion there is, as we understand something less and less and less, it appears more and more and more like magic.
There are scientists who, they get to a level of science where you can't explain, but you know something's happening, and they feel that that's the point where the spiritual and the scientific cross. That there is room for both.
I think science also, it actually shares a lot with magic. Science tells us a story about how things work or what causes are. I guess the difference would be that the stories in science are more useful. I can make plans or projections or build things according to those stories about how things work.
I think that magic is basically just a form of science.
I think quantum physics is kind of the magical aspect of physics. There's so many fascinating things that seem to a layperson to be inexplicable. The act of observation changing the events. You're observing particles, and then you do something, you make this one spin. Its twin will do the exact same thing. Why?
Well, I guess because of the fact that the behavior of subatomic particles often is very different than the way the large things that we observe every day behave, I guess I could see how somebody could consider it being almost magical. I've heard, stories about if there are large groups of people in the same place, random number generators will stop generating random numbers and there'll be some sort of pattern to them. But I never heard of any serious scientific study of these things, so I guess I would be skeptical.
I think it's like with potions or something.
Use of metals in potions.
It was actually a very serious pursuit. Really well-regarded scientists were engaged in alchemy.
Alchemy was something that was practiced hundreds of years ago. People who, I guess, may have thought of themselves as working in the natural world the way scientists do, but they were trying to do things that, for the most part, they wouldn't be able to.
Alchemy is interesting because it's actually the roots of modern science. It was where the spiritual, mythical, magical started to merge with the concept of science, the idea that I can prove this, I can do this, there are steps I can take to change something, the transmutation of metals and things like that.